Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. We've all gotten pretty used to the idea of a single giant AI, one big brain trying to solve every problem we throw at it. But what if that's completely the wrong way to think about it? Today, we're diving into a really fundamental shift. The idea of building teams of specialized AIs that work together, brainstorm, and solve problems in ways a single AI just can't. Let's get into it. Here's what we've got on tap. We'll start with what an AI team even is. Then we'll break down how they actually collaborate and why this team approach is such a game changer. We'll look at some real-world examples and then wrap up with the big challenges and a peek at what's coming next. All right, let's start with the big question. What exactly is an AI team? The idea is actually super intuitive when you think about it. Instead of having one generalist AI trying to be a jack of all trades, what if you built a crew of specialists? Each one is an expert in its own little niche, and they team up to tackle problems that are way too big and messy for any one AI to handle on its own. So the technical term you'll hear is a multi-agent LLM system. But honestly, a much better way to think about it is as a generative AI dream team. Each member of the team is its own powerful AI, but they're all pointed in the same direction, working toward a single shared goal. And this is where the magic really happens: specialization. You could have one agent that's a total data cruncher, another that's a brilliant creative writer, and a third that's just a ruthless fact checker. When they combine their strengths, the final result is just so much more robust and reliable than what you'd get from one AI trying to wear all those hats at once. Okay, so you've assembled the team, but how do they actually work together without stepping on each other's toes? Well, it turns out there's a surprisingly elegant playbook for all this. The whole process is really logical. First, you take a big, hairy problem and you decompose it. You break it down into smaller, bite-sized tasks. Then, those little subtasks get assigned to the specialist agent that's best suited for that job. And finally, all those individual pieces of work are brought back together and integrated into one final coherent solution. And of course, every team needs a manager, right? In an AI team, that role is played by the orchestration layer. You can just think of it as the project manager. It's the central hub that understands the main goal, dishes out the tasks to the right agents, and then stitches all of their work together at the end. Now, for all this to work smoothly, there are a few key ingredients under the hood. You've got the agent specialization we talked about, but you also need clear communication protocols. Basically, a shared language so they can talk to each other. They need a shared memory, so everyone's working from the same playbook. The system even needs ways to handle arguments, maybe through something like voting. And, this is a big one, these agents can use external tools, like a web browser or a calculator, to get new information. So, what's the big payoff? I mean, why go through all this trouble instead of just using one really, really powerful AI? Well, it really comes down to a classic trade-off. Sure, a single AI is simpler to manage, but it can easily get overwhelmed by complex tasks, and it's a single point of failure. An AI team, on the other hand, is just more robust. Because you have all these specialists, they can attack different parts of a problem at the same time in parallel. And if one agent hits a wall, the others can adapt and keep things moving. When you add it all up, the benefits become really clear. You get much higher quality work because of specialization, you get answers faster because they work in parallel, and the whole system scales better. You can just add new specialists to the team. Plus, it's way more fault-tolerant. One agent failing doesn't crash the whole project. Okay, so this isn't just some cool idea on a whiteboard. It's actually being put into practice. Let's take a look at where these AI teams are already making a real impact. Think about research, for instance. You can set up an AI team that works just like a human research team. You'd have one agent that just scours the web and internal databases, gathering all the raw data. A second agent, the analyst, sifts through that data looking for patterns. And then a third agent takes all those insights and synthesizes them into a polished final report. Or how about customer support? An AI team can be set up to mirror a human support structure. You have your level 1 agents handling all the common, easy questions, but as soon as a tricky issue comes up, it gets automatically escalated to a specialist agent. You can even have a supervisor agent that steps in for the really critical problems. And look, this isn't science fiction. Developers are building these systems today, using frameworks like AutoGen, LangChain, and Crew AI. The fact that we already have this whole ecosystem of tools shows you how fast this idea is moving from the research lab into the real world. Now, of course, it's not all a walk in the park. This is still cutting-edge stuff. So let's wrap up by looking at the hurdles we still need to clear and what the future could look like if we do. Yeah, there are some pretty significant challenges. Just managing all the interactions between agents gets really complicated as the team grows. Making sure every agent is on the same page with the most up-to-date information is a huge task. And security is a big one. If a single agent gets compromised, it could potentially mislead the entire team. And let's be real, running a whole bunch of large language models at once is incredibly expensive. But despite those challenges, the potential is just staggering. The next step in this evolution is something people are calling AI swarms. So forget a small team. Imagine an entire AI department, or even a whole AI-run company, with hundreds of specialized agents all working together to solve problems on a massive scale. This really is a whole new way of thinking. As one expert put it, the era of single monolithic AI is fading. The future belongs to networks of synthetic AI agents working together in coordinated systems. It's not about one superbrain anymore. It's about the power of the network. Which leaves us with a final, pretty wild question to think about. As this technology keeps getting better and better, could we see a future where the next big, world-changing company isn't run by people at all, but by a coordinated swarm of AI agents? It's a bold thought for sure, but it's getting a little closer to reality every single day. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.